And we have today members of press, media persons from our Tibetan media fraternity as well as local Indian fraternity as well. And we have some of our media friends from Delhi joining us today as well. So please.
Well, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here today for the official ceremony marking the 35th anniversary of the conferring of the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And for us, this is the first time members of Parliament from New Zealand, also Fiji, have been here for this event. So obviously, this is an important event for a number of reasons. One, which I think is just that message of peace, which he was awarded the Peace Prize for 35 years ago, is one that's as important as ever, if not more important than ever today. And so it's great to be here and to learn more about this region and to learn more about the people of Tibet. So I think I speak for all of us, we've really enjoyed our time here.
Good afternoon to everyone. Truly an honor to be here on the 35th anniversary and to meet His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. To be the first one from Fiji Islands at the age of 31, I think it feels like a big responsibility to represent your people of the region, people of the Pacific, and from small island states, I would rather say large ocean states. And today also marks the International Day for Human Rights as well, so it falls on quite a similar day here that we're here today. As I said, when we first got off the plane, it felt like stepping into heaven, and the amount of culture that you have, traditions, heritage, is something that I look forward to getting indulged into and learning more. And again, I'm here to connect bridges with the Central Tibetan administration on how we can have exchange programs and further any other opportunities that exist between the Pacific region and Central Tibetan administration. We look forward to that conversation. So that's it for me.
So if you have any questions to ask, we'll have like 10-15 minutes for the questions. Please identify yourself and...
my name is Penny Chipe and I'm from Tibet TV, Central Tibetan Administration. We're glad to see you all today, and this is your first visit to Dharamshala and your first public appearance at CTA's event. Do we expect to see more of your parliamentary members coming from Fiji Islands and coming from New Zealand in many more events at CTA, or collaborating with CTA as well?
This is a decision for each parliamentarian to make to come here, but we would certainly be encouraging our colleagues to come here. It's a fantastic event, and something we would encourage others to come. And New Zealand's had a long interest in people of Tibet, and I think it's great to be here in this role.
Yeah, just to add to that, we are a cross-parliamentary group, so we have members of the government, members of the opposition. I think that shows the united voice that we have as New Zealanders for solidarity with the people of Tibet, our respect for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and also the importance of the Human Rights Day to us and human rights globally. The world is a dangerous and fractured place at the moment, so it is more relevant than ever that we take a human rights approach. It's something New Zealand takes very seriously, and the fact that we can come together from across the House in solidarity to be with the people of Tibet shows the importance of our commitment to that, we say kaupapa, which is a Māori word, to that way of thinking and that.
Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, my name is Keshav Padmanabhan. I'm a journalist with the Quint and I cover foreign policy. And my question is to the cross group of parliamentarians from New Zealand. Specifically, how do you view a visit to Tibet, given the importance of New Zealand-China ties, when we saw a visit earlier this year by the Chinese premier to your country? So in that sort of sense, how do you view your visit to Tibet, given sort of the sensitive nature of the issue?
Look, we're not here on behalf of the government. To say that first, we're here as members of Parliament. New Zealand has a long and good relationship with China. But we've been very clear for a long time about our views on human rights, and that we will say what we think if we have a disagreement. And we have called out instances and there have been concerns about Tibet, including recently with other nations, about we want to see human rights being upheld. We think it's one of our important principles, and it's something that we will stand true to. So we think we can balance both of those.
Say I'm a member of Parliament for the New Zealand Labour Party, and the reason that I came was I was particularly concerned about the human rights issues and the schooling issues of taking children into schools that are essentially run away from their parents. It's something that lots of countries have struggled with, lots of countries have done, and lots of us regret the decisions in those other countries. So there's a lot of reciprocal learning, and it's very important that we keep those communications open about mistakes that people make.
To add to that question, I'm Pradeep Thakur from Times of India Daily. So to add to that question, as you were talking about children's being taken away, rights violations. So are these issues going to be raised in your parliament, the government, to have some official position on all these issues of human rights violations and freedom being curtailed or liberty not being there of Tibetans in Tibet?
I think my first job when I go back is to make sure that I share the information that I've got with other parliamentarians and with my community, so that more New Zealanders know about the Tibetan community and the struggles that it's been facing.
I'll just add to that, that New Zealand was signatory with a number of other countries to a statement in October this year on a general discussion of human rights, a joint statement on human rights situation in Tibet and Xinjiang, and has raised these concerns with a number of other nations.
Just to add on to that, I think the purpose of this trip is to make us aware of the situation that's at hand, and personally. And for us in Fiji, I think we've always called for the ocean of peace. We play a big part in the region, also with the Pacific Island forums. And I think definitely when we're creating awareness as well. So I would definitely go back and bring this up in Parliament, and let the people of my country know of what Tibetans have gone through, and also create that space where more dialogue can happen, more engagements can happen, and then opportunities can raise from there between Tibet and Fiji.
Hi, I'm Tashi from Voice of Tibet. You're here on a very important day, the 25th anniversary of the Nobel Peace Prize being conferred on His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and also it's the International Human Rights Day. So, since you are here, I think in itself is a statement. And do you have any message to China or the world regarding Tibet on this day?
Beyond what we've already said, I think the message of peace and the resolution of issue, and there will be always differences of opinion that people have, including within communities, within families, within nation states, and we think that message of peace, which of the Peace Prize on the Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, is one that we hear. We really believe in that, and we think that's a very important principle for this world, and but that doesn't mean you don't have disagreements. So you do have disagreements, but you work through them using peace as your solving those issues. So it's a great message.
We are here as parliamentarians, not as the government. The fact that we are here shows the significance of this day for the reasons that you stated. I think individually each of us are very interested and committed with human rights, and so it has meant a lot for us to be here on this particular day. We do feel, I think I can speak for all of us, that right now peace and security are really topical issues, and so there is a lot to be learned from us looking at the peaceful approach that you have taken. There is a lot of learning and dialogue to be had, and there's also a lot of solidarity in New Zealand from Tibetan communities who stand in solidarity with you, but also other communities who are committed to peace and human rights. So as I said in my speech before, you are not alone, we're all connected, and it's an important day for us to be here with you.
I think I'd just like to add on to that in terms of peace and chaos. You see, for me, in my perspective, what is a business? A business is a solution to a problem. When we have a problem, we have businesses, economies thrive, nations thrive, and it's all basically moving money around the world. In this, you take some, you snatch it away, and which history shows us. So in terms of moving forward, which I see a lot of youth present here today, the message is to them that we need to strive that balance of compassionate leadership that needs to be instilled in them for making a world that has peace, that looks at humanity before economics, before numbers, before infrastructure, and also give back and save our planet, which is basically the resources that our economy depends on. That would be the message to the younger generations.
I'm Tenzin Choki. I'm a journalist from Tibet Express. So, you as representatives of nations that have experienced colonialism, now you thrive as community, independent community with space to nurture your culture, identity, and voices. But for Tibetan, the problem is not just the challenge is not just to preserve our culture and identity, but to resist the systemic inequalities and mindset of colonialism that persists in institutions, societies, and minds of individuals. So, how, from your perspective, how can we as Tibetan go about decolonizing our minds to simultaneously preserve our culture, identity?
Can I just say, this is a conversation that's going on in our own country, and it's a very serious conversation, and again, we might not all agree on what the answer is, but it's making sure that when we are setting up our structures, we actually allow for that disagreement and that discussion. So I think that it would be wonderful if some people from Tibet could come to New Zealand to have that discussion a lot with the Indigenous people in the country, because that's very much being worked through.
I'll just speak from sort of New Zealand's perspective. We've recognised for many years now the importance of language, the importance of culture, and again there are differences of opinion on exactly how they should be expressed, and that's something that's always a discussion point and is ongoing in New Zealand. So it's not an easy thing ever for anyone, but I think it's really important that that's respect and that discussion and peaceful method of resolving those differences of opinion. This is a great thing, the message that is here.
Anybody else?
I'm again from West of America. My question is for Mr. Sharmaji. What specific interest you are visiting Dharamsala, keeping in mind the pressure of Chinese pressure in the Pacific island nations?
Well, some call it pressure, some call it engagements. There are many terms given to it. But I think Fiji has been very clear on its stand of, enemies of none and friends to all. And because we have, beyond our exclusive economic zones, areas beyond our jurisdiction are subject to exploitation anyway. So whatever help, the Pacific nations, are getting from either it's the US, or it's Australia, New Zealand, or in terms of China as well. But in terms of Fiji, we have to weigh out our interest for the people, and Fiji serving as a hub, we need to sort of weigh out the interest of other 18 Pacific nations to see what's best for our people in that particular time.
If I may add a comment, I think I took great heart today from the involvement of the children and the fact that you can feel secure, I think, in the passing of your cultural knowledge through the children and through language. As my colleagues have referenced, this is something that we hold very dearly in Aotearoa, New Zealand. We understand this is an intergenerational movement, and as we get older as parliamentarians, we appreciate that the children are our future, and the treasures, or the taonga, as we would say, is passed through them. So I feel it really touched me to see the level of involvement of the children and the focus on making sure that knowledge is handed through to them. I'm sure we will take those learnings back with us as we look at our own situation in New Zealand and the similar challenges that we may have in a different context.
One question for the delegations. As you have mentioned, you function for the first time in Dharamsala. So, what you are looking for to bilateral relation with Central Tibet Administration in future?
Well, I could just say that recently in New Zealand I hosted some of your parliamentarians in exile, and that was the genesis for this trip. They were incredibly clear about what they were doing in speaking with us, with the challenges that Tibet faces and the type of engagement they would like to see. And they had a group of Tibetans, friends of Tibet, there with us, as well as parliamentarians. And then they went on and joined us for another international conference next day, which Mr. Sharma and I had the privilege of being involved with. So I would like to see some more of that. I think they were very effective in what they were doing as ambassadors for your country and for the situation you are in. And I look forward to more exchanges of this nature so that we can continue to learn from each other.
It's a very good summary, I think, from Ingrid. It is the first time we are. This is a learning, and it's about relationship building as well. This world is very relational. It's the relationship that people build, within their own communities, but also with others. And so this is an opportunity for us to learn more, to build those relationships. So we'd like to see more of that going forwards. And I have to say, from a personal perspective, I said it in my speech out there, but I feel very at home here. I also live in the mountains, and this is something that feels very, very normal to me. So it's great to be here on a personal level in that respect as well.
Okay.